Welcome to the Real Retirees of New Jersey, powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Randy and Peggy Fisher want to help you retire once and retire right. Get more information at therealretireesofnewjersey.com. They never throw the first punch, but they're always a knockout.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. But most importantly, thanks for listening. This is the Real Retirees of New Jersey podcast with Peggy and Randy Fisher. It's all powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. You can get more when you visit therealretireesofnewjersey.com. You can find that and all the information here in the show notes. My name is Mark Owens. Now, let's get to the show. Peggy Fisher, Randy Fisher, how's the weekend treating you?
Weekend is amazing.
Doing good.
You recently had another big seminar. What was on the people's mind?
It was amazing. We talked Trump, of course. We talked tariffs. We talked markets. We talked economy. We talked about a lot of good stuff, man. We got a lot of good appointments. People are ready for their second opinions, are ready to come in and talk.
Talked over music bingo.
Yeah, we talked over music bingo. That was fun, right, Randy? Randy did really good on that.
So what happened? You showed up for your educational seminar, and the other side of the restaurant was doing music bingo.
I'm sorry to tell you this. I know we booked you today, but we do have music bingo tonight. And Randy was the best.
It was a 2 for 1.
Yes.
There's always great seminars from Liberty Financial Group at Artemis Wealth Advisors, the Real Retirees of New Jersey.com to keep up to date when their next educational seminar will be happening and how to get on the list to join them. And you just mentioned it. If you watch MSNBC right now,
Kramer's a moron.
How about him? He called, what was it, last week?
He said
it was going to be a Black Monday, and the S&P ended up.
It was up that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't know how many clients called me and go, I just listened to Kramer. Pull all my money out.
Right.
I'm like, no.
Did we talk about that? Isn't there like a podcast out there or somebody that whatever he says, they do the opposite and they follow to see how it
Yes, it's true.
Let me tell you, it's the smartest maneuver on planet Earth because everything he says is dead wrong.
Yeah.
But if you're watching Fox News, though, they're going to say, hey, listen, you got to be patient. Let's ride this out. But I want to get your opinion on that one because we are. At the end of the day, we're emotional animals. We are emotional, especially about our retirement money. And because of this market volatility, some people are saying, just relax, just be patient. But that's not always the best advice. So what are you telling adults, the families that you serve, who are worried about the market and how it's going to affect their retirement savings?
Spend all the money.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
Just spend
Be
it.
done.
When you have none, you don't worry.
Just rely on the government.
Anybody that actually has worries are the people who have the money.
That's true.
The people who have tax problems are the people who have what? Income and taxes and problems, right? This week I had a whole bunch of people, obviously it's tax time. So when the market's down, you get people that are actually, anxious or they're trying to figure out what's going on with their money. So you do get calls like that. And then during tax time, you get calls of, hey, I just got this 1099. I don't understand. How did I make $50,000 or $100,000 or $300,000? What's going on here? I got to pay taxes on that?
Yeah, Randy came to the office today about that. He goes, I can't believe people are actually calling me complaining I made too much money for them last year. I got to pay taxes on it.
They're like, wait a minit, you made all of this? I'm like, yeah, you did pretty good.
Yeah.
They're like, well, my tax accountant's flipping out right now. I said, well, tell them you have a good problem.
You have a good financial advisor.
You have a good problem.
So what's happening, though? So what next? What advice are you passing?
Well, the advice first is we're talking them off the ledge this week anyway.
Yeah.
It's a big talk off the ledge because they are listening to, any of the radio stations or news stations out there.
Doubt, right? It creates doubt.
It's not even creating doubt. It's creating just doom and gloom. The stations do not like Trump. We all know that, right?
Clickbait and headlines.
So what are they saying? Oh my God, the sky is falling. The world's coming to an end. Yep. And why are they doing that? Whether it was good or bad, they're doing it because they hate Trump. So it doesn't matter of what's going on out there, whether it's, if he could be curing cancer right now and the markets can be like high as the sky and they will somehow go on there and people will be like, oh my God, did you hear what they just said? Tariffs are happening and now they're taking away our Social Security. Like what?
Well,
what
no,
what?
he cured cancer, but he didn't cure diabetes.
Yes, exactly. So we're firstly trying to talk people off the ledge of just, you can almost say what station they're listening to by what they call in their exact wording of what they're saying.
Yeah, but people are just scared. I mean, let's be honest.
It's true.
People are emotional about their own money, and that's okay. We understand that. We're not emotional about anyone's money.
We all talk about that.
We're professional.
Yeah.
This is what we do. We take a mathematical, a methodical, and the biggest word, non-emotional approach to your money.
Yeah.
We're going to do the right thing because it's the right thing. We're not going to do something because it's an emotional cushion or a feel-good scenario. The bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking at this scenario right now, if you have money that's on the sideline This is almost a once in a generational period. You can make a ridiculous amount of money 6, 9, 12 months from now.
That's right.
The entry point on these positions in these companies that are out there, it's absolutely extraordinary. I mean, you talk about reset. It would be like me asking you if you would like to buy a piece of swamp in Florida in 1960 before Walt Disney walked on the scene.
Yeah.
Right? So everybody would like to go back in time. Think about this. Would you like to buy Amazon before it started, Apple before it started,
Yes,
Microsoft before it started?
I wish I could.
In 1974, would you like to buy Apple right now?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Right? So you have to think about this. These companies are not fly-by-nights. These companies are not going to go out of business. In fact, after every downturn, what happens?
Market goes up.
We have an upturn.
Right?
How about that?
Yeah.
That's a miraculous recovery there, right? It does happen. Is there pain in the middle? Yeah, there's pain, right? But unfortunately, you have to live through some tough times in order to get some better times. And what we've seen over history is if you have time on your side and you don't need the money now, and you don't need the cash flow from it, or you don't need all of it. So these are not short-term savings plans, ladies and gentlemen. This is not, hey, my kid's going to school in a couple of years, or I'm saving for a house, or I need to take money out for income. That's not this type of savings. This type of savings is for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Down the road, this is an unbelievable situation, an unbelievable scenario. And we've been talking about it a while. In fact, I just wrote an article just 3 nights ago about it and sent it out to all of our clients. They started forwarding the article to all their friends.
Yeah.
Nice.
Saying, oh my gosh, I was at dinner, I was at lunch, I was, with the worker, and they were all flipping out. And they said, hey, I sent them your article. And by the time the end of the day came along, they all had a conversation with me saying, wow, that was a pretty good article. But the reason why I like it is because X, Y, and Z, the explanation of this.
Well, and it made sense. Like simple terms were making sense to people, not this craziness of, oh my God, the sky is falling. We're never going back. Your money is down. It's never coming back up. All this doom and gloom. Relax. It's going to be okay.
Well, take the first step. The first thing is most people think of what's going to continue to go on as to what's going on with them right now. And we've brought this up in the past. This is called recency bias. So from a psychological standpoint, people think whatever's happening is going to continue. When there's good times, what do people don't want to do? They don't want to actually be diversified. They don't want to actually take a look at their risk profile because what are they doing? They're making money and they just think that it's going to continue forever, right? People become enamored with one direction. When it turns the other way, what else do they also think? Oh, the world's coming to an end, right? Chicken Little, the sky's falling. And you know what? Everybody's telling me the same thing, so it must be true. So now everybody wants to dive off a cliff, take all their money and put it in a coffee can.
Yeah. How many calls do we have this week, Randy? Should I sell my 401k?
There's a few.
Yeah.
There's a few.
No, you're not selling your 401k. It's going to be all right.
And the reason, and every time I ask them the question, who told you that?
Right.
And they're like, oh, I was listening to the news.
Right.
I was listening to the radio. I listened to the program. I turned this station on. They told me that the sky's falling and the world's coming to an end. We're going into a recession like the Great Depression.
Yeah.
It's
Do you think I should sell it? Should I sell it? Yeah. No.
I said, no. The problem is this. You're not educated. And not that they're not educated. I mean that they're not understanding the process of how markets work.
No, we're emotional.
Right.
It's beyond emotions coming out.
Beyond emotion. So emotional, it's ridiculous.
Well, even the market's emotional. I think the market needs like a Xanax. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
This is the new Trump derangement.
Oh, this is what I'm saying to you.
The Wall Street is now taking on the derangement.
They are.
Before it was, they could have controlled some derangement through not getting Trump reelected, right? And by doing that, there was the crowd, it was the public, it was everybody there, and they had some form of government in order to help them.
Right. Guess
right
what?
now, they have no
Nothing.
Congress, they have no Senate, and they don't have the presidency.
Right.
So they then started to try to do it through the court system. What had happened over the last couple of weeks? Well, the Supreme Court started shooting holes in all this stuff, saying, wait a minute, these little district courts that are around the country, they're not having the
final say
on
what a president,
going on, right?
And the people who voted for the president want.
Correct. So one of the biggest things is public sentiment when you think about Trump. What was the biggest thing that he actually got elected on? Border control, right? Mm-hmm. Immigration, and what? The economy.
Right.
Economy. So if you want to actually squash Trump right now, what you want to do is you want to change consumer sentiment or public sentiment on, does this guy know what the hell he's talking about? Or is he going to destroy the economy? And the more that they say that he's going to destroy the economy, now you have people thinking or doubting what he can and cannot do.
Trillions of investments are pouring in. He's cutting costs. There's massive deregulatory efforts. That's amazing.
You can
and
talk
tax
about
cuts
all
are coming.
those good things.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, the problem right now is people are looking at their 401ks and their balances, and they're saying, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and all the news stations are now telling us the same thing.
Okay, 908-844-8337. Let's get to the bottom of it. The emotions that we're talking about. Randy, Peggy, I call you right now, and I say, I'm looking at my 401k. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. I'm terrified. I've been working my entire life to retire comfortably, and I see a dip in my 401k. What should I do? What do I do right now? How do you respond?
Come on in. Let's talk. Come on.
How did you know she wasn't going to say
We
that?
got lots to talk about.
Well, that's an understatement. So yes,
We'll put a pot of coffee on. Let's go.
Not only that, but we do
the
have
invite's always open.
But we also have other ways, not just the market, to give you protective money and to protect your money. There are many other avenues. That's right. And there's other products out there. There are other things that we can do that can secure your money and protect it.
All right, let me first talk to the people who are basically sitting in their underwear with a video paddle in their hand, listening to us because they're waiting for someone to tell them which team to bet on this afternoon.
Okay.
So the first thing is you probably have a part-time job or your 401k or whatever it may be, and you're still working. Hopefully you're still living on your own and not in your parents' basement. But if that's the case, 401k, when markets go down, is a glorious tool because what you're then doing is dollar cost averaging. So when the market is down, another word or synonymous phrase for the market being down is it's on sale.
Sale.
It's on sale.
It's on sale.
So if you have not started your 401k yet, or if you have a 401k, it could be a good time to look at what percentage are you putting in?
Right.
What are you contributing?
Right.
Are you putting in 1%, 0%, 5%, 3%? Are you putting in the match? Does your company match? If your company matches, put in at least the match.
Yes, absolutely.
Because then what you're doing is you're getting something for nothing. Right?
It's the best thing.
Every time you're contributing, you're buying when it's down. You're not buying the individual position. What you're looking for there, ladies and gentlemen, here's your secret sauce. How many units are you purchasing? Because now what happens is when you start to accumulate those units and now the market takes over and does its magic and it starts to appreciate, every one of those units are going to be worth more. That's the power of 401k. It's the out of sight, out of mind, making you contribute to something and getting used to it without you actually having to do anything. So it's automatic. And more so is the power of the accumulating units through dollar cost averaging.
Okay, isn't that a dangerous way though? The set it and forget it way of thinking of retirement planning?
Well, you got to start someplace, right? So then let's migrate to the next group of people that are potentially listening that aren't betting on sports, but they have a balance of 401k.
Yeah.
If you have a time horizon until you retire and you're pre-retired, this is the time to actually take a very strong look at what is in your 401k, where are your allocations, what are your choices, and are you taking either enough risk or are you taking too much risk?
Right.
And what is your time horizon? Most people think of their risk tolerance as how much can I absorb? How much can I take? Can I sleep at night? Now, that's one way of looking at it. Risk tolerance is also measured on how long is it going to be until I have to withdraw money from that account.
Right.
If you have a 7-year, 10-year or more window, you're aggressive. Period. The end. Take my word for it. Be aggressive. If you have less than a 7 to 5 year window until you're retiring, you're probably in the moderate to moderately aggressive scenario. And if you're 3 years or under, like you're heading into retirement, you should be a conservative investor within your 401k. And there are many strategies in which you can employ going into each one of those periods in which I just discussed. And that has to do with where are your contributions being capitalized on every single paycheck or every 2 weeks that you put money into your 401k. Where is that allocation going to and what are you doing? That's a very important concept.
And we have a great tool here. We talk about this at our workshops. We always say, check this box. We have a risk analyzer that we have a program that will put all of your statements in and tell us, because you sometimes think, oh, you know what, I'm not conservative, but you really are conservative,
Right?
Or
Or you're not risky and you are risky.
Exactly. And this risk analyzer that's free to anyone, complimentary, you come into the office, you bring your statements in, we do this for you. It's an amazing tool that shows your risk, and it's very eye-opening to some people. Like, no, I'm not conservative. Oh no, when I see this, oh no, I am conservative. Is that money going all out there? So it's a great tool that we use for clients who come in. They give us the statements, we go over it. And, they come in and they love to talk about this kind of thing because it's sometimes very eye-opening and shocking as to what you really think you are as far as an investment goes.
Risk is like beauty, right? Everybody has a different view of it and what it looks like and what they're attracted to. Mm-hmm. So, what someone would think is very risky, somebody else doesn't think that that's risky.
That's right.
Someone may think that someone's gorgeous and beautiful and handsome, and other people will be like, that person's a dog, right? So it's true. It just has to do with, what is your personal appetite, right? What are you attracted to?
Right.
Are you attracted to the nice shiny thing, or you're attracted to the, hey, I just accumulated this and I don't want to lose it?
Or what? And that's the whole thing. What percentage scares you so much that you can't put your head down at night and go, oh my God?
You have to have some sort of sleep insurance.
Yes, absolutely. Right? We talk about that all the time.
All right, let's give out that number, 908-844-8337. Again, 908-844-8337. to take advantage of that risk score from the team at Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. That's Peggy Fisher. That's Randy Fisher. You can meet them when you visit therealretireesofnewjersey.com. All right, Randy, what's the next group that we're going to cover?
Well, how about retired? That'd probably be a good one, right?
Yeah.
Sir.
And those are the people who are literally within maybe a 1-year window or just heading towards retirement, or the people who are already retired. Those are the ones that are really, really shaking in their boots right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, do I need to go back to work? Oh my God, am I going to be okay? Oh my God, do I have enough money?
Because what they're doing is they're comparing what they're hearing to COVID, right? They're comparing and hearing to 2007 to 2009, the credit crisis.
That's right.
They're also comparing it to 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, which is the dot-com era bubble.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between those three, let's just cover those. Dot-com, Wall Street created. Financial crisis of the lending institutions in 2007 and 2009, subprime, they created.
Right.
Wall Street created both of those dilemmas. So it went from bear market, which was a decline in a short period of time of 20% decline, to a recession, meaning that over 2 quarters, there was negative GDP, gross domestic product, which then means, ladies and gentlemen, in pure translation, the economy slowed to a negative crawl.
Right.
Right now, and people don't realize this either, for the past 30 years, the United States economy is built on 2 things and 2 things only. Number 1, government spending out of control. I mean, out of control beyond recognition. Why? Well, when the government spends money, it pumps money back into the economy, and then the economy kind of hums. They also hire a zillion million people that are on the payroll for government, which then gives them a job, which then gives them a paycheck, that then gives them what? Spending money, which then gives them what? Taxation. So it's kind of like this big circle that goes around. The biggest thing there is the United States consumer. We are the biggest consumers on planet Earth. There's no other country that actually consumes more than we do. We actually import more than every other country in the world.
Right.
We consume more than every other country in the world. You know what's happening right now? We're still consuming.
Yeah, of course
we have not cut down our spending no matter what happens, no matter what the government tells us, no matter what a financial advisor tells you. People are still spending up to their eyeballs. They have their credit cards that are maxed out. They're getting a raise. They're feeling good, but they're still actually spending. The economy is humming. When the economy doesn't hum, we're in a recession. Everybody's now saying that tariffs are going to cause an inflationary bubble or it's going to cause recessionary situations. Could be over a long period of time, not a short period of time. So I ask a crazy question. You ready?
Okay.
Somebody give me this answer. How much have costs increased right now because we're talking about tariffs?
They haven't.
None. Zero.
They have not.
Not one iota.
I work with somebody who went and bought a new car this weekend because they're terrified about what may potentially happen with the tariffs.
Moron.
If anything, because of their fear of Trump, they just added to the economy, boosting Trump.
Thank you.
Right, exactly.
Appreciate that. Good job.
We're $36 trillion in debt, and we can get rid of this with some proper tariff deals.
Tariffs.
Yes.
Here's another. We'll go through a little history for you. So within this little thing that I wrote,
Give us history, Randy. The people need history.
You love it.
No, people definitely need history.
Well, listen. Number one, for the first 150 years of this country, we didn't have income taxes. Okay, so the first thing you hear is, well, we're not 150. That was 150 years. 250 years ago, whatever it may be. We live in a different time these days. Well, guess what? There was enough money coming into the country just on tariffs that no one needed to have taxation. We had taxes that actually popped up because we had what? World wars. World War I is basically how most of the United States needed to pay for taxes. And you know what the tax rate was, the first tax rate?
Like 90%?
One.
Oh, 1%.
1%.
Oh,
wow.
1%. But, and in fact, at one time in 1944, it was actually almost up to 90 some odd percent, right? Which actually, it kind of made the framework of Ronald Reagan's presidency and why he thought that overtaxation was not good. We don't even have enough time for all this. But here's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, Ronald Reagan. So I just mentioned him. From 81 to 88, he actually had and used tariffs and quotas to buy time for the U.S. industries while driving the economy to a renewal. Because we were just coming out of the Jimmy Carter era, right?
Yeah.
We had high gas prices. Inflation was through the roof. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar? High inflation, gas prices through the roof, crazy inflation, right? How about Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton employed selective trade enforcement to protect the U.S. intellectual properties for steel. How about that one? He actually changed the United States. Now, through 1993 or 94 to 2000, anybody remember, was that a pretty good market period? Yeah, it was. How about Ronald Reagan, 80 to 88? Hell yeah, right? How about Trump 1.0, 2017 to 2021?
The best the economy ever was.
He put tariffs on, right? And what he was doing is basically restoring fairness. Who was he fighting against? Who's he fighting against now? China, for the most part.
Yeah.
He could care less about Vietnam, Cambodia, all these different countries. Now, there are a couple key players, right?
Yeah.
You have UK, you have the EU, China, Japan, certain areas.
Yeah.
So as long as they're willing to play the game, and everybody keeps talking about this, oh my gosh, he's putting on tariffs to people. All he's really asking for is, hey, listen, if you charge me, I charge you. Yeah. That's like saying, if you punch me in the face, I'm going to punch you in the face. But if you don't punch me in the face, I'm going to keep my hands in my pocket. It's the same concept, right? By the way, Joe Biden, did he remove any of Trump's tariffs?
Zero.
Zero. Did he change anything else that Trump did? Everything else that Trump did.
Day one.
Everything. On day one, yes.
Okay.
So if tariffs are that bad, why didn't the administration that can't stand him, why didn't they remove tariffs?
Right, exactly. But you're not saying that.
When we heard that Trump was potentially getting reelected, the market took off like a what? A rocket ship to the moon. Because Wall Street couldn't wait for deregulation and they couldn't wait for positive tax benefits to run the economy, to fix it, to lower inflation, to lower gas prices, to make the economy hum and run again. Nothing's changed other than this guy talking about a word starts with a T.
Yeah.
And it ain't Trump, it's tariffs.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's causing people to derange their thinking.
The president's got the world's attention. America first. This is what we're about. And listen, a strong America cannot be dependent on other countries.
That's right.
True.
908-844-8337. Taking me to school today.
Educated.
Well, listen, I don't care if you're educated or not. The bottom line is all this information is power that you can use to your advantage when building a portfolio or by regulating your own feelings and doing the right thing that's supposed to be done at the right time.
And give us a call at 908-844-8337. Let us help you.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisor services offered through Artemis Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Artemis Wealth Advisors is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Randolph A. Fisher, insurance license number 9616074, and Liberty Financial Group, LLC, and Peggy Fisher, national license number 189-42003 and 570-5833.